For people that are looking to build, whether you're calling us, whether they're coming to you guys or not, you should be asking your salesperson and make sure that it's in writing or at least verified in some way. Will you allow me to have a home inspector come in pre-drywall and then pre-closing? That's important. If they say, well, maybe pre-closing but not pre-drywall, what are they hiding? Welcome, guys, to Who's in the House. So glad to have you guys. We have the team from Foxlane Homes here, Delaware division, because you guys are in other divisions or other areas of the surrounding areas. Thanks so much for coming on. If we could take 2 seconds, just kind of go around the table, introduce yourself, tell us what you do, what your specialty is, and we'll have some fun after that.
Gotcha. Well, my name's Eric Myers. I'm the production manager for Foxlane Homes. Getting ready to hit 5 years being here with the group. Started out building all of our first homes in the Bayfront community. And then we've grown the team to have several different communities and project managers. So I run everything that has to do with construction, hiring vendors, picking specs, picking products, and all those things.
So you did those because there were like 10 homes there in Bayfront along when you came in and make a left, and they were trying to sell those last remaining lots. And I know Foxlane bought them all.
Yep.
You were, and I think it may have been rumor, maybe it's true, that was kind of like Foxlane Home, like they were testing out different floor plans and how to make them work in coastal Delaware. And I think you guys actually hit the nail on the head because I heard a lot of great stuff about it.
Yeah, so when Dave first started the Delaware division, he needed to develop plans because the Philadelphia group that's up in Pennsylvania, most of their stuff is second story owners.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So completely developed the Charleston, the Newport, the Raleigh, and all of those homes. So we wanted to build them prior to selling them to figure out, is the owner's bedroom big enough?
Sure.
Should we have a bump out? Does it work? So we used that as a test area, and it worked out really well because we were kind of tucked away down at the end of Camp Arrowhead Road.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of activity. We could just build them, and then when we got them done, we put them up for sale.
Yeah. No, it was a great community too. Like, because there's a lot of homes that look different builders, so it kind of fits. So awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'm excited for our conversation because as anyone that's watching this, they know I came from the building side, from a marketing perspective, and the actual building aspect. So I love all the geeky building technique stuff because I don't know, it's
what you do.
The lipstick is cool. Like, hey, we love trim and we like beautiful homes, but I love the idea of the bones of how something's built well. And so that's what we'll have a little bit of fun. So
sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Next, I'm going to pretend I don't know who you are. Who are you?
Yes, John Farrow. I am sales representative at Suncrest in Lewes. Been on board about 3 months now. But despite my youthful appearance, I've been in this industry. I Googled it this morning. I was like, how long have I been doing this stuff? 27 years and 24 days.
Wow.
And I've done a variety of things. But
I thought you were 27 years old.
I know,
I
just tell you, I get good genetics, I guess. Right? But it's interesting what you just said about like geeking out on the construction stuff, because some of my background is in project management and construction as well. I prefer to take people in the homes that are under construction.
Yeah.
Because that behind the walls, kind of the bones of the home and the things that you don't think of that kind of translate into the quality of the home is what's behind the walls.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people in my position don't do that, but that's an important part of the process. So
yeah, you can tell when you go into a national builder versus a more regional production style builder that the quality aspect of it matters. And I tell people, just close the door. As soon as you close the door, you're going to feel the difference.
Absolutely.
When you're on a 2x4 constructed home, not that it like vibrates but you feel it. It kind of is like, whereas the 2x6, it feels solid. It feels nice. It's like a Chevy door versus a BMW door. That just has that thud sound. That's the
sound and the acoustics.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, floor systems are important.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we go across our homes. It doesn't matter if it's a ranch home or two-story home. Any floor of the home it feels rock solid.
Yep.
And there's a lot to the engineering, and Eric probably talk more about that. But that construction and engineering matters.
I call it the
matters.
bounce test.
Yeah.
I tell my clients, I'm like, go in
Trampoline.
and bounce,
Trampoline
bounce on the floor. You won't feel it. And go in the other ones and you will. So, for sure. So, yeah, I'm excited for that part of it.
Awesome.
And then our Natalia, oh, sorry, I don't know who you are. This person, who are you?
Yes, I'm Natalia Sprinkle, and I am the sales manager now for the Foxlane, Delaware division. I did start out as a sales rep and came on board to help the team grow in Delaware. We completed and sold out Sweet Bay, was our first full community, which was 64 homes. And we just have an incredible team, super passionate people that are happy to come to work every day and help people build their dream homes. So just super lucky and fortunate to be a part of the team and continue to grow. And now I'm overseeing with the team. We have 3 full communities and 1 more coming on board in the spring. So
Yeah, and I think that it's important to discuss, which, we discussed last time, that you were on the podcast when we talked about Sweet Bay and what was it? There was another. Oh, the Knoll. The Knoll was coming online, and we got into kind of where the specialty of Foxlane comes in, which is taking that production style and then being able or having the ability to make it your own.
Yes.
Which with a lot of builders, and I get it, especially the national guys, because they're just have their hands so tied with the economies of scale and efficiencies, and this is just how it is. The answers in most cases are no, because it's, as I say, predetermined Lego blocks. You want a basement, here's the 3 Lego blocks you can pick. You can't change the shape and size, maybe the color, but you can't change the shape and size of it. Right. Whereas you guys say, yeah, let's look at it. Let's see if we can. And if so, how much it'll cost. And obviously it's not free, but you do have the ability, which is, it's a breath of fresh air for some people. They want to do something or have the ability to do it. And it's a lot of times the answer is always no, and that they have that. So I think that's really cool. On top of our main topic today is going to be Suncrest, which is a Lewes community located off Camp Arrowhead Road. It is a smaller, more intimate style community. And I'm just going to say the elephant in the room, because it's by nature of the community. It is a smaller, intimate community, and it's designed to be that. It's not a lack or a missing of things. It's designed to be what it is.
Right.
If you want a more exclusive cruise, you take, a river cruise that's on a smaller boat that's really high scale and great service. Whereas if you want the big craziness, you go on Carnival. So what are we looking for in a home? And there are some people that want Carnival, and there are some people that want the river cruise. And that's what Suncrest is. 36 home sites, more simplistic amenities, but have the ability that you can create your own oasis in your backyard if you want, because there are people that want that for sure.
Right.
So for people that are watching, you're looking for that, continue watching, please. Everyone should watch anyway, but but especially if you're looking for that more personalized and custom feel without the custom price, this is definitely one to watch. So
Sure.
So maybe let's dive into Suncrest, since we kind of started there, and then we'll kind of funnel down to building, the homes and offerings and specs and all that.
Yeah, nice overview that you gave. We call it like a boutique style type community, because it is only 36 home sites. So again, by nature, by design, it is exactly what it's meant to be.
Yeah. Let's pull up the actual site map here as you're chatting. Here it is. Okay. So as you were saying, 36.
One big loop, right?
Yeah.
So really, every single home site, whether you're on that outside perimeter or inside perimeter, is really going to be designed to where you don't have that typical, volume community setup where you're staring into someone's backyard.
Sure.
So there's extensive landscaping already installed and invested in around the entire perimeter of the community. In the center of the community, where it says amenity area and open space.
Right in here.
Not necessarily open like where you're going to run around. We actually are building up. One berm is complete, like a completely built-in landscape berm. Must be at least 10 feet high.
I was going to say, it's tall.
It's tall.
Really large.
So it's really designed to have the people on the inside perimeter still have the beauty of a natural backdrop that's landscape that's going to be maintained, yet allow them to have some privacy.
Yeah.
Right?
And rumor has it the second berm will be in the shape of
The state of Delaware. So we're excited for that to come and take some drone photos of that when that's done. But behind lot 26 and 27, it would be upside down from this vantage point that we're looking at now. But the state of Delaware will be placed right there. And that really gives, we put the sidewalk in between the two berms. So there's a large berm on the left-hand side behind 33 through 35. And then we'll have the berm on the other side. The sidewalk, as neighbors are going to be walking through, you're not even going to see them from your backyards. The
That's
berm's
awesome.
going to be in between. So that natural backdrop that John was talking about is there for all of those interior lots.
And I've already done the walk. It's absolutely stunning just walking through. You're just at peace. Like Suncrest has such a special feel to it. When you're walking around back there, it's just quiet, and the home site's being spacious. The homes are further apart. And then it still allows, even with 36 homes, for the people that want to have the backyard oasis, that we still did add a few amenities that you could still get together with neighbors.
Yeah.
My favorite being the bocce ball courts that are lit up with the lights above them. They're just,
That's awesome.
yeah, when, it's getting darker earlier this time of night when I leave, at 5 o'clock, and just see the lights twinkling makes me want to go over and throw some bocce ball.
And the fire pit,
Yeah.
and you got pickleball.
Pickleball.
They have to have pickleball,
Yeah.
of course,
Have to
of
have
course. Right?
Pickleball.
Yeah.
No, but I think, and that's where, it's great to be able to see this from an aerial, but when you get on site and you see the biggest thing is the height of those berms, a lot of people, when we're talking about interior home sites, we're worried about what do I see in the distance? And when you have a pond, that doesn't obstruct your view besides adding depth.
Right.
Whereas this is actually obstructing the view and not with a fence
Right.
or something that a lot of, developers do. It's a beautiful berm that's landscaped and looks really nice. You have to be there to really see it.
Yeah, and then it still creates that privacy that people are looking for.
Yep. It almost gives you an aspect of like an external home site, but on the internal side of it, which is nice. So it's thoughtful, and I think that is where who's developing this community?
Foxlane
We
Homes.
Oh, well, that explains that. That's why and for people that don't know, there's a piece of land that's 2,000 years old, and a developer comes in, they develop the land, they do the infrastructure, then they contract a builder to then build the home sites, and they make the money by selling the land. The builder makes some money by selling the house. So those developers are always trying to figure out how can we get the most amount of ice cubes in the ice tray. When the developer or when the builder is developing, they are trying to think of how do we do this to sell homes as best possible, because beauty is part of the whole
Right.
thing. So that's why a developer wouldn't typically do something like that.
Right.
A developer only. So makes sense since you guys are developing, you would go the extra step, do the extra effort to make the community pretty. So
Yeah, we know what the feedback is. We're the ones that are in front of the customers
Yeah.
in the models. The developer doesn't necessarily know that to know what is important to the buyers. So being
Yeah, they
able
don't
to do
care as
both
much.
sides of that business ends up with a better finished product in a lot of cases.
Sure.
Not all the time, but we felt like we needed to put things in this community and each of our communities that customers wanted that we've heard before
Sure.
right out of them.
yeah, because you guys gather the data and then can use it. And then what happens? You have a community that's developed, and let's just say the developer didn't do a great job making it as aesthetically pleasing or whatever, and they contract a builder to come in. The builder doesn't sell quite as well as the developer was hoping for. So what do? They cancel the builder. They bring in a different builder. And there's a little bit of a pop, and then they slow down. They cancel the builder. They bring in a different builder. So then what happens is there's a community in Millsboro. I'll say it's Stonewater Creek, and you can kind of drive through and say, this is where that builder is, this is where that builder is. You can see
The
because it's not like intermixed.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's what happens because again, the developer makes money by selling land, and all they want to do is just sell. Hey, let's get a builder in that can get us our money back on what we invested into the infrastructure of the community. So the fact that you guys have that and you have the data, that
do.
you can then produce a community that's desirable. And I think that it can be tricky when you're in that 36 home site style community, because it's not going to be 200 acres of strolling pastures and everything. So how do we utilize that space to make the community pretty and have larger home sites and give it a good offering that people want? And I do think that you guys hit the nail on the head with it, of kind of that balance of getting home sites in so it makes sense from your developing standpoint, from your building standpoint, and most importantly from the client standpoint of we would love to live here.
Right.
And so it's just a neighborhood that feels like you've arrived home.
It's pretty.
When you get there.
It's quiet. It's
It
quaint.
is.
It's not on Route 1 to where even though it's small, you got lots of noise and things going on. I had a client in there and I just said, just stand here for a second and just let's not say anything. Just listen. And they're like, what am I listening for? I'm like, exactly.
Right.
It's just quiet. Hear that wind? Like you don't hear that as
Some
you get.
birds.
Yeah. It's really, it's nice. There are currently 3 quick delivery homes.
Got 3, absolutely.
Those are a good variety, which is nice.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got, of course, in this area, the ranch homes very popular and they kind of prevail. I've got the Roanoke, nice big ranch home, 2,500 square feet, first floor, but that's built on a basement. 9-foot tall basement, so extra headroom and space, along with the finished rec room and another bedroom and a bathroom. So looking about 3,800 square feet in that ranch home on an oversized lot. So I think it's going to be very attractive for the right person that wants that space and that yard. That would be an ideal yard for someone that wants to do a pool, for
Sure.
example.
Yeah.
Plenty of space back there. Of course, we've got the Newport. It's on the far right. That's similar to our model. I say similar to our model home. Our model home is the Newport. That home is just outfitted and decked out with some different features, different colors, but the overall square footage pretty similar. Around 4,800 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, finished basement, also tall basement in there, and then of course the Charleston shares some of the same DNA. As the Newport. Like you walk into these homes and you kind of feel some similarity in the flow of the space. So I call that's the little brother to the Newport. But great space, first floor owner suite on that 2-story home. Has the basement, again, another tall, 9-foot tall basement, unfinished. So someone doesn't necessarily need all the additional living space, but still want storage space, which can be difficult to find with some of the new homes, especially if a home's built only on a crawl space or on a slab. You hear that question all the time, like, where do I put stuff? Well, you got a whole basement there.
Yeah, well, there's also some people that they have a vision for kind of how they want to utilize the space. They want to do a theater room and do double layered drywall that goes opposite directions and try to soundproof it as much as possible. And if you just move into a house with a finished basement, are you really going to tear it up to then redo it? So sometimes it's nice to have it unfinished and cut the pie up the way you want it.
Yeah, it's a blank canvas, and that one is already roughed in for future bathrooms. So
cool. Great.
If somebody wants to do that conversion, the hard part's done, right? All that under slab plumbing and vent stack is in place.
Yeah, I really want to shout out one of these, and I don't know if I can. Like, I want to be like, this is the great one. This is the great value.
Yeah.
Because, number one, I think that there are 3 different buyers.
Yes.
Number one. And number 2, they're all like crazy deals.
They are.
So I think that the Newport at, $865, we spoke about, that's $182 a square
Per
foot.
square foot. Done, finished,
5
custom
bedroom,
home at that value.
Awesome value. But if you want a ranch home, that's not a great house for you. Well, there's the Roanoke. And there's, for people that are interested, you have to walk it. For me, one of the big features is that foyer. I love how wide that entryway is. Mm-hmm. It feels grand in a 1-story home, which doesn't normally happen. Flows all the way back to like a view out of the back of the home, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. Some of the trim work that you added in and some of the color palettes are really cool, which is awesome.
Don't forget that kitchen.
Kitchen is. And that big, I don't know what you call that bar, that extra counter space. I'd be like a breakfast bar or a coffee bar. No, it's too big for that. So tons of counter space. And then there is, for someone that's interested, I'm not going to spill the beans now. There's a special door in this house that that will reveal when you come through.
Yeah.
It's a really cool feature that I think everyone should be doing. So there's the carrot. Let's get you into the house because it's awesome. And then the Charleston. I mean, it's a really awesome. I don't want to say baby version of the Newport, but a small for someone that doesn't need a house quite that size. And great deal. I mean,
It is.
It's another $100,000 less. It's awesome.
Yeah. And the Charleston was our best-selling floor plan in Suite Bay. So just coming into that 2-story, great
Sure.
room, lots of light, lots of windows, great kitchen, and the owner's suite is a true owner's paradise.
Yeah. Well, and I want to zoom out real quick on the community. Obviously, we're talking about the community itself and you guys as the builder, but I do want to give a little discussion as to its location and kind of what the surrounding amenities, not just the community amenities itself. Hold on, I'm lost here. Steer me.
Down.
Up.
Right there.
There we go. Oh, is this?
You're about 12 o'clock at the top.
I gotta make a left and come around. Here we are.
There you go.
All right. So here's the community itself from 5,000 feet off the ground. And as we zoom out, this is Camp Arrowhead Road, which comes into Route 24, John J. Williams Highway, which is our main east
1
to
mile.
west.
So,
Is that
right
what it
on
is?
the button from J.D. Shuckers and that whole Peddler's Village area.
Yep.
Come 1 mile up Camp Arrowhead Road.
So when you come here, you make a right to go towards the coast, make a left to go inland, which I think is really cool. And you could obviously even come back off of Angola if you're going inland. But the reason I think it's really neat is because we have 2 different times of lifestyle here, in season and out of season. So 9 months out of the year being out of season, go whichever direction you want. In season, sometimes people say, well, I don't know if I want to go towards Coastal Highway, but I have to go pick up some burgers or dogs or whatever. Make a left.
Right.
Go in towards Route 5 where there's 4 grocery stores, there's a Harris Teeter, there's a Giant and everything without having to engage Route 1 if you don't want to. So just come out, make a left. Gas station's up there, Paradise Grill if you want to hang out and do some sunset dining or boating, whatever. If you're a boater, put your boat in a slip up there. So it's neat to have that proximity to that type of lifestyle. And then obviously if you make a right, you go down to Route 1. We're right between Lewes and Rehoboth and outlets and all the fun that comes along with that. So great location. Is this Cape School District, Cape
It
Northern?
is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cape and
Yeah.
Northern, yep.
Cape
Okay. Do you know what schools it feeds?
It should be Love Creek,
Okay.
and then
And probably Beacon.
Beacon.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
obviously the Cape Northern High School.
Correct.
Which for anyone that is in the Cape School District, we got the best football team and lacrosse teams, and I may be a little biased, but no, it's a great place to live. Really good school district, and Indian River's great as well. But this is in Cape, and a lot of people are looking for Cape, so this is for those people that are looking for that. This is in that school district. So going back to the community itself, obviously the three that you have in there, and then obviously you have outside of that you can just to be built. Design the house how you want it to be. So walk me through that process from a Foxlane perspective. I'm a client. I come in. We go through. We find home sites or whatever. Like now I want to do things that are me to the house.
Correct. And and just in my experience, you kind of talked through a little bit, but someone understanding one that the location works. It has to make sense. Like I tell people all the time, like boots on the ground. This part of the planet has to work for you.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So we kind of funneled down to that. Then someone at a neighborhood like Suncrest that's appealing to. They like that size. They like the quiet nature of it. And then you kind of understand, well, what type of home site? You close your eyes and think about when you wake up every morning, what do you see out the back door, out the front door? And let's see if we can marry up a home site that matches that vision.
Sure.
The home's the easy part.
Yep.
In my opinion, in all my experience, because if that location and the home site, the neighborhood all works, we can figure out a floor plan because we have plenty to choose from. And then, of course, with our ability to tweak and customize plans, we're going to get that dialed in the way you want. But
Sure.
it's asking the right questions, and it's fact finding and understanding what someone's mission is. I tell people, I've been telling them this for years, it is not my job to spend your money for you. It's not. You probably haven't needed my help all your whole life yet. I don't need to start now. But let me understand what you're trying to accomplish, what's important, and let's kind of look at it from that needs-based perspective, tackle the things that are important, and then you massage it from there. Relative to factoring in different structural components, we have stock production-oriented plans with structural options that are already engineered and designed for the home. But we can tweak that. We can work within that. But to add those like finer details with the design center components, we have a whole separate component. I wish Amanda was here, but
Yeah.
Amanda, she's our design center consultant, and she's the one that's going to bring the beauty and vision to life with, what color cabinets and
All the
countertops and
finishes.
flooring, trim work, like you name it.
I think that's important because there are a lot of clients, and as anyone knows that watches my channel, these podcasts, I do a lot. I help a lot of clients with new construction, and a lot of people, when they're given a lot of options, are like, I don't know if that's the route I want to go because analysis paralysis. Like,
Yes.
I don't know which trim I should do. What color should the island be? And you guys even go different to the. You can maybe do a different color hood. Whereas
Right.
even
Yeah.
the builders that do allow you to have different color island from your main cabinetry, they won't go to that level. So now it's like, oh no, what do I do? And this is going to be too much. That you have someone that can say, don't worry, we've got you, and we'll help you through it. And I'm not going to make allow you, or I'll guide you so that you don't make a crazy decision of like, maybe we don't do hot pink cabinets.
Right.
Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
just
Right.
food for thought. But it's great that you have someone, and they're not just I don't know, a clerk. That's what do you want? Okay, check. And here's your total.
Yeah, no,
Swipe your card.
Amanda loves what she does, and she gets so excited for each home.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing, like to sit in on her appointments. She just, with each buyer, she lets them lead, but then she also has so much, input and advice, and then always our homes end up beautiful. So
Yeah.
she's doing such a great job.
So
She's got an energy that just
Yeah.
she wants to help,
that's
Yes.
awesome.
but she
And-
listens.
Yeah, I think that's important because I've run into enough people in this industry that they almost just want to talk to prove their worth and kind of like look at how great I am, and which that's great that they're proud in their job, but they're not living in the house. And that's like I tell my clients, I know that you guys have the same ideas. This is your home, not my home. I want to make sure that you're super happy because then when your friends come, they're going to say, you need to build with us. And you need to, go to my builder. They're great. I had such a great experience. I love my community. I love, you got to go see John, that type of thing. So and that comes from listening and not just hearing, actually listening and taking into consideration what they're looking for. So and giving good options of have you thought about this? I don't know anything. I tell my wife all the time, you pick what, I'll put it there perfectly, but I don't know what to put there. And that's where like I get overwhelmed. So I can only imagine, how that is. So it's nice to have some guidance.
And look, truth be told, how often do people do this?
Sure.
I'm talking to people that haven't built a home or bought a home in 20, 30, it could be 35, 40 years. So it's a completely new experience for them. I feel very fortunate and blessed with my background that when people are talking to me, I can offer that construction perspective as well because I've been in the field. So many times when people are throwing out some ideas and it's maybe something they saw on Pinterest or YouTube, that's fine. But I can speak to them kind of through that process and throw some perspectives in to make them understand, well, hey, is that a good choice or a bad choice?
Yeah.
So I'm not just a sales guy. I'm a consultant. We're collaborating together because we want this to be right.
Yeah. Well, apparently you used to be a podcast host because this is a really great way to segue into a home that was built like 50 years ago to how we're building homes nowadays.
Right.
Because to your point, people are doing this a couple times in their lives and maybe only building a home once. A lot of times people are doing resale and they're never building a home. But even if they did build a home, I've built 3 homes in my life, and I built one in the 60s and one in the 80s, and I know exactly what I'm doing. And one thing I like to remind them is that if
Yes.
we went to Foxlane Homes, who is, has the ability to make changes, and we said, I want you to replicate my home right now, it is illegal. We cannot replicate and build that home
Correct.
today the way that it was built in 1980. We can't do it the way it was built in 2004. Or when's the most recent code change? Was that 2020 or?
They updated probably 4 years ago
Okay.
to a different IRC. So yeah.
So like 2020, if a home is built in 2019, we can't build that. That would be illegal. That would be out of code. So it's different and things have changed. And there are some industry leading builders who have brought in techniques that have now made its way into mandatory building techniques and into code, which is great. And for anyone that's watching, if you walk into a builder and they use the term, we build the code, please walk away.
Right.
That means that we are building to the bare minimum legally allowed.
Yes.
Really? Is that what we want? We've got it just good enough. So I love the idea of, you've got a slew of data and information that we can talk about that I'm going to love as far as what you guys are doing that is, number one, what are some changes in code that people don't know about that are important? And number two, what are things that you're doing that are getting rid of that bounce test, or I should say, make that bounce test so relevant that you don't feel it and that make Foxlane so special? Like, what are the above and beyond things that you guys are doing that people that have no idea because it's hidden by drywall, it's hidden by paint and flooring, and they go and they're like, oh, look how pretty this house is. Well, what are the guts and bones of the house?
Yeah, so building a home is extremely complicated.
Sure.
And there's thousands of ways to do it, thousands of products. And as a builder, we've got to kind of cater to what we think is important to the customers and what we've heard before. But there's also lots of pieces. So I'd want to dig into the foundation because Suncrest has basements. We can do basements on every single lot at Suncrest. We could do them at 8 foot tall. We could do them at 9 foot tall. Building a basement in Sussex County, while there's a lot of them in the Lewes, Rehoboth area, there's not a lot county-wide. So if we get folks coming from Baltimore or Philadelphia, they're kind of surprised when they hear that we can do a basement this close to the water.
Sure.
Which then can bring up some concerns. Well, what are you guys doing to make sure that I don't have an issue with my basement? Just breaking down concrete, there's different PSIs for concrete. There's different thicknesses. There's different additives. You can add rebar to it to strengthen it. That's not something that you're going to see on a spec sheet in a model home.
Correct, yeah.
Right? That's not something that you're going to walk at your pre-drywall meeting and be able to tell what was done.
The most important
One of the biggest parts.
of the
Yes.
home.
Yeah.
It's what everything sits
Just
on.
holding the home up, that's all.
Yeah, without it, it just falls down,
So building that to code, sure, it's acceptable. Is it the best practice? Is it the best thing for the 15th year of the home, the 20th year of the home? Maybe not. So as we developed our specs of what we wanted to do in Delaware, these were some of the important things that I prioritized and we prioritized for building a great home that we could stand behind. So our concrete, every ounce of concrete that we pour at 3,500 PSI. The customer can't ever tell that,
Sure.
right? But
They're like, it looks gray.
the code requires 2,000 in some spots,
Okay.
requires 2,500 in some spots, and 3,000 in some spots. From a consistency standpoint, that we don't ever have the wrong truck show up for the wrong time or the wrong order, as well as making sure that we had extra strength. We're pouring everything at 3,500. We're adding vertical rebar and horizontal rebar in all of the walls, not just when the code book says it needs to be done based on the soil type or how tall that you're backfilling the wall. The code sometimes reduces that. We're going to do it all the time. The 2x6 framing on the outside walls, we're stick framing that. A lot of builders have gone the 2x4s. It helps with cost of framing. It helps with weight of shipping. It helps on the labor side as the framers are moving the material. But we feel like the final look and feel of the home, like you said, when you close the door and the front door wall doesn't shake. because it's a stronger wall with 2x6. It also allows us to put in more insulation into that wall because it's 2x6.
Hey, you're 2 inches deeper.
Right.
A 2 inch deeper bay. Are you doing 2x6 16 on center or 24 on center?
We are doing it all 16 on center.
Okay.
And then a lot of our interior walls, they are transitioning to 2x4s because
Sure, it's
that
your
extra
structural-
2 to 4 inches in a bedroom, most customers want that in the room, not necessarily in the stud cavity.
Yeah.
So, but our interior walls, we're doing all of those 16 on center.
Okay.
The code allows 24. But with 16 on center, you get a better nailing pattern with your drywall, and you have more studs to be able to hang your TVs on or your pictures. And you can remove some of those waves that you get when you're trying to span 24
Sure.
inches, right? So those are things that we're not going to change. It doesn't matter if, the economy dips or the sales price changes or any of those things. Those are some core principles that we're going to keep those specs intact.
Well, and I think one thing to go back on your foundation, and I guess a question I want to ask first, and I don't know the answer to this one. Does code allow block foundations still, or is that? Or
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
So, if we want to go to the extremes and say, what is the basic? Again, if we build the code, the cheapest and lowest we're probably building with block, which is cinder blocks with mortar in between it, and then the most expensive is putting up a frame and then or molds,
solid
and then
concrete.
pouring concrete and then adding rebar and then we take it a step farther and add all rebar and 3,500 psi.
Right.
So you guys are all the way on this side of it, and the block is all the way down here. So again, if we look at building the code, you guys are way far ahead of that. But on top of that, what is the warranty on your structure of the house?
10 years.
So a
10
10-year
years for
warranty.
the structural components, your foundation, your footers, your load-bearing walls, trusses.
So when people, and this is something that I explain when people ask about, proximity to the coastline and water infiltration and how are they doing a basement and blah, 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 blah. My thing is to remind them that the builder is married to that foundation for 10 years. So if there is a chance, and there's plenty enough people down here that don't want a basement or they're okay with a crawl space. So if there were a chance, any level that between now and year 10, which is a long time, again, average home, or 7 years. So if there's a chance that there would be water, they would just say, we'll do a crawl space. Because there's plenty of people that are okay with that. So obviously there has been extensive research, perk tests, whatever it is that you've done on all 36 of those home sites to say, we are good and confident that we are going to have solid basis for the 10-year warranty that we're giving you. So that's a long time. That's a good tail to test to say that we stand behind this for 10 years. So,
Absolutely. Sure.
yeah. And that segues a little bit back to Suncrest. There's been a January release of some information, a new. I don't want to say it's not an incentive because it's now law. It's the way that.
Well, it's our program.
Yeah,
now.
there we
Yes.
go,
So
program.
yeah, we definitely did a pivot. Again, paying attention to the market, and this was something that I'd worked closely with Natalia and we've talked to Dave that value is important, right? So we made a pivot to include the basement foundation standard. It was an option before, and we are including the finished rec room. So you're talking about 700 plus square feet, depending on the home. So you're getting the benefit of all this extra storage space and extra living space, and now that's just included. It's just part
Wow.
of the program. So
I thought it was just going to be just a unfinished basement.
Oh, no.
So you get a portion of that rec space is going to be finished. So you walk
Absolutely.
down into a finished space.
into finished
Yes.
space. So whether you're envisioning that movie room, place to play, foosball, ping pong, whatever, you've got a lot of space to work with.
I'll tell you, it's not quite the blank canvas, which is nice because you can utilize from day one, storing and living, but you have plenty of space to still do that special, your yoga room or your craft
Absolutely.
room or whatever.
Absolutely.
That's great. Are they able to add egress wherever they would want if they wanted to? If they knew that, hey, back in this corner, I'm going to want a bedroom. Or,
With us being semi-custom, we're going to entertain conversations
That's
like
awesome.
that all day, every day.
that's great.
Absolutely.
So you can really, because that is a big deal to do later on. And obviously, if you cut the foundation that you guys worked so hard to build and have someone come cut it up and then there's a leak there, it's not your fault.
Right.
So it's nice that you guys pour it, you do it the way, and then it's just done properly from day one. And all they have to do is frame up and put drywall in,
Right.
and be done with it. So that's cool. And obviously, you do rough-ins.
We could do rough-ins, or we can close that loop. If that's a layer of space that people need, like an extra bedroom in that basement or a full bathroom in that basement, and they don't want to do it later, we can do it on the front end. That's not a problem. But from that standard package, we felt it would be important to just let's include that basement in the rec room. That way the needle doesn't really have to swing when you're sitting down having those important pricing conversations.
Yeah.
Because you've got the structure pretty well figured out. Let's talk about the fun stuff.
Yeah, that's that predetermined Lego block aspect that I was talking about. Okay, the basement is unfinished, fully finished, or just a rec room. Well, I just want to do this corner. The answer is normally no.
Right.
Whereas you guys say, sure, we'll do that.
Sure.
Then do what else you want later on. So, no, great point. I didn't even think about that. Because I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. That's why I want to help you.
Exactly. Well, and I think it's just such an important conversation because it's not a normal conversation that's had down there. So it's really, an important thing for people. And again, I think if you're looking for that intimate or boutique style community, you're probably going to be a more intimate or boutique-y style client that you want to be able to make the changes and make the house the way that you want it to be, which is awesome. It's neat to be able to kind of have it not just only one part and now you're stuck. You can do the whole thing. So, really neat.
It's led to some really refreshing conversations in my shoes because I have been with programs where the answer was no.
Yeah.
I was programmed to say no. And people come into the model homes and they're asking you these questions and that they've asked every builder down here the same questions and they always walk away with no.
And you're probably excited that you get to say yes.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is it?
The look on their face.
Yeah.
When I said, sure. And they're almost bewildered by it. Like, you just said yes to that?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why not?
I know the answer is no, but is there a way you can do a deck off of that? Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Did you say yes?
Right.
That is not.
Yeah, people get really excited when they find
They
us.
do get excited. It's refreshing for them to hear.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they may ultimately never do anything custom, but just knowing that the flexibility and the opportunity is there, that's important to them.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, to kind of bridge the gap between the different style of builders is that the other part of the puzzle when it comes to different style builders being national production builder, regional production builder, semi-custom production builder, and then full custom. Full custom's great if you have the money. Let's just pretend you have the budget for it. That's great. But one thing that you normally can't get with full custom is also community.
Right.
So, what do we do? Because most communities have a builder tie-in. That's that developer that's working contracted with the builder. So, what do you do? So, all right, I'm looking to get the answer is yes to that question. So, I have to go custom, but I have to say no to the community. Right. Which is, to your point, the house is actually the easy part. And a lot of those custom things, while you think maybe this is a big deal to me, once you're in the house, you'll be like, yeah, it wasn't. I want to have that room where I spin it where it hides my Christmas tree. Is it really that big of a deal?
Right.
I really wanted that. But having the community is more important than be able to spin your Christmas tree around so that you have this, I'm moving in from out of town and how do I make friends and how do I meet people and what do I do? You have a community aspect, and that when you're living on a 1 acre piece of land in the middle of Delaware somewhere, it makes it harder. You have to go out and actively try to meet people versus in a community, you're almost kind of forced to make friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Delaware, Suncrest having natural gas and public sewer, public water.
Yeah.
That's huge to be in a
Especially
community.
on a smaller community.
Right.
Because a lot of them don't have that infrastructure.
Correct.
Sure.
So that's really special about the community too,
Yeah.
that you don't have to worry about, septic or, having to deal with all those other.
Yeah, I think with 36 home sites, and obviously there have been, how many are moved in now? The home sites closed and some people are living there. We have a few.
3 or 4?
4
Yeah.
homeowners.
And
1, 2.
one under
Three.
construction. Actually, we have another one foundation started. We're gonna have another foundation coming out of the ground next week. So there's good activity out there.
I mean, I think from this conversation, we should be sold out by February. I mean,
Yeah.
this is really is like a
Let's do it.
this is a win. No, but truly and honestly, I'm partially joking, but I think a big thing is there's a lot of people that are looking for this, and I know it because I have clients that are looking for this more boutique style community and think it's not available because there are other builders that have really big marketing budgets that have billboards and marketing and everything that's out there, and they think that that's all that's available down here, which is great. And that is absolute. There are people that want that and don't want boutique, which is okay. There are people that want a pickup truck and people that want a Corvette. There are two different people. So that's fine, but there are people I think that are forced to be in that environment when they didn't want to because they didn't know that there was something that's out there. And there's only 36. Well, no, there isn't. There's only whatever, maybe.
And on the flip side of
30.
that conversation, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to, and I'm sure you have as well, that they came down here and they went for the Disneyland experience community. And now we're talking to them because it's not what they thought it was going to be. For any myriad of reasons, from escalating cost and prevailing personalities of some HOA board, like it can get pretty convoluted.
Sometimes
in some
there's
of these.
rentals that are in there.
The
and they don't wanna
Airbnb
be- yeah.
stuff, the vacation rental situation. That's not the community for everybody. Again, Suncrest, you're going to feel like you're home.
Yeah.
And eliminate some of those aspects of big HOA communities with all those amenities. It's not for everybody all the time.
Yeah, I mean, for when you have a community, whenever something's built for everyone to share, everyone also shares the cost to maintain that.
Right.
If you have a clubhouse and it needs a new roof, guess what? The HOA has to pay for it, which the HOA is all the people that live there.
Right.
So sometimes it's an assessment, sometimes there's enough money in reserve funds that they can pay for it. But regardless, if the reserves are using for the roof, it's not being used for the new playground or whatever. So there's all expenses that are shared between everyone. So it's nice to maybe not have all of those carrying costs. And again, if you don't care about it, why in the world are you paying for it?
Right.
Like, that's crazy. Man, your HOA is covering all this stuff that you have no interest. Maybe you're more of an introvert, or maybe you just don't have a desire of being bombarded or sitting next to a million people by the pool. I want my own pool in the backyard that my family can go swimming at 2 o'clock in the morning if we want to, because it's
Exactly.
ours and we can. That's where something like this comes in. Speaking about HOA, what are HOA dues over there and what's included?
So $155 per month.
Okay.
And that's going to, of course, maintain all the landscaping around the community on the perimeter, on the inside, the entry monument area. Of course, maintain the bocce ball courts and the fire pit. Plow the streets, main streets only, if and when we ever get enough snow to plow. And of course, the electric bill has to get paid for the street lights. So
Sure.
that's all in there as well.
Yeah.
And trash.
And trash.
And trash.
removal as well.
Well, and trash has been going up. So
Yes.
that is an
Yeah,
expense that people, maybe you didn't calculate it before, and a lot of municipalities that people may be moving from, it's included with, where I grew up in Pennsylvania, we just had trash service for Swarthmore. And, down here, that isn't how it is. So you have to pay for it, and it can get expensive. So it's nice to have it included. Yard care
Is on the homeowner.
which some people may go, oh man, it was so great until this. And my community doesn't offer it. And I'll tell you right now, it is, I think there's a little bit of a misconception about when your lawn care is included with the HOA, because number one, you are, not that you're forced, you can end up doing whatever you want, but you're utilizing that person that cuts the grass. You're also paying to have your grass cut 12 months out of the year. In theory, your HOA dues don't go down in February. It's still the same price.
Right.
So my thing is, number one, you get to pick who you want and the way that they're doing it. Are they doing it the way that you want it to be done? Also, my guy will knock on the door in the middle of July and say, hey, it was really hot. We didn't get a lot of rain. I don't think we should cut. I'd say, whatever, do your thing. I trust you. So I don't pay for it. So it's nice. You only pay for it when you need it, how you need it. And you can pick who it is. If your neighbor has someone and you don't like them, pick someone else. So
You're not stuck with that as a group.
And guess what? It's the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a bill and you just pay it. And you don't have to call them every Friday and say, hey, don't forget to come. They're still coming every single week. My guy shows up on Thursday, cuts the grass, and that's it. And I pay him at the end of the summer, so it's minimal effort, if anything. So
Yeah.
it's probably harder to pay the HOA bill than it is to pay my lawn guy. So great. And you can also ask, for extra whether they're there at the end at the fall. Okay, you can do my fall cleanup too while you're at it. So it's nice to have that. So and it's some people go with this style community may go a little bit more elaborate on their landscaping, and it's nice to have kind of that whole border to border type of environment.
And Eric,
and to do
your
it
son's
yourself
pretty good on a
Yeah.
zero turn mower. His son, I've
he
seen.
is.
I was going to say, there's some people that have a lot of
Probably got,
pride.
how old is he now?
Yeah.
10. Yeah, so 10-year-old for hire, zero
Is he
turn.
really?
Oh yeah, 3 years I don't cut grass
Yeah.
since he was 7.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
But we do find the people that are very proud of their lawns and
Sure,
choose
for
and
sure.
prefer to do it themselves. And
If they walk around, they have those things where they pick
Yeah.
up. There's like a weed, and they pop that weed out of the lawn.
And if they are the green thumb or the retired guy that wants to take care of his lawn, he's not forced to still pay the bill to the HOA and still cut his own grass.
True. Yeah, it's
I've
just-
seen that. In
I forgot that
I've
people
seen that.
There's those people
there is
too.
the option you can actually do it yourself.
They're doing it themselves, but their fees don't change. But they
Yeah.
want it done a particular way,
Sure.
or they do treatments their particular way. So in this, you have options. You have options, and you have control. And like you said, at the end of the year, it's pretty cost neutral anyway.
Yeah.
It just depends on who you're paying.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's good. And if you have a pool, there may be something that's you don't want the I'll use the word generic lawn guy that comes through and blasts everybody's lawn. Maybe you want to be a little nicer with your metal fence that's going around and not weed whacking and banging it up or whatever. So
Right.
it is nice to have that. I think that in general, again, not to beat a dead horse, but this is one of those things. Again, going after the right client. Let's not, if you want the Disneyland effect, this isn't the right community, and that's okay. Yep. I really wanted to get the message out there to the people that watch the podcast and people that are looking for new construction in Delaware that this is here, that there is this style community that's available if this is what you're looking for. You don't have to be, force that, square peg into a round hole. And, how do we make the big style community work for our life? There's this available that's right up the alley. So, what else? One thing I wanted to ask, obviously we got a little bit, we touched on 2x6 and a little bit on foundations, which is, scratching the surface.
Right.
There's so much more to it. And probably, honestly, it could be a whole nother podcast, which I would be totally open to doing because I love that part. You and I could just sit down and
could
geek
break it
out.
into chunks.
We'll let John come in too. But what are some other really high level things that people really need to be aware of that's important, that you guys are offering? Is there something special with windows or doors or things that are important to the overall energy efficiency or kind of how you guys are engineering the home from the ground up?
Yeah, so without getting into specific details for each item, I want to hit a few different items that we do. One is our HVAC. Any 2-story home that we build has 2 separate systems.
Okay.
That allows you to control upstairs and downstairs at different
Not a controlled
temperatures.
damper.
Not a damper,
Two
2 separate units, so that the size of those units are separate for those areas.
Okay.
And if you want to have the second floor off, you could, and you can have the first floor on.
Okay.
That is helping with airflow. One thing that tends to happen when you stretch a larger house into a zone system, while it's nice to have a thermostat upstairs, the amount of airflow that system puts out is capped.
Sure.
It's only so big. It's like a set of lungs. It can only put out what it brings in. So you end up getting less of an airflow in your owner's bedroom or in your living room because you're trying to feed air upstairs at the same time.
Sure.
With 2 separate units, they're completely independent, and we get a much better feel inside of the home and a much better balancing inside of the home of the temperatures. So that's really important to us.
And to be clear, we're talking about 2 condensers or compressors, 2 air handlers.
2 air handlers, yeah.
Like two thermostats, not just, but 2 totally
Two totally separate units.
Perfect.
Yeah. Some other things that, for some customers may be small, for some customers may be big. On our windows, we do extension jambs that are wood. And then we trim out all the windows. So every home has trimmed out windows, but when you go
On
to
the
hang,
inside.
yes, but
Okay.
on the inside, it's real wood. We're
Yeah.
not wrapping it with drywall. So when you go to put up your blinds or your window treatments, you have a consistent 34, 34, 34 as you go to measure those window blinds instead of following a stud with drywall and possibly having variations. So we've actually received feedback from multiple window companies that they're telling the customer, like,
They love us.
wow, like, this is awesome. I came to measure and it's 34 inches, 34 inches, and 34 inches as they're custom making window treatments.
Well, and I don't know, like drywall wrapped windows are just like drywall. Like it just looks. When you walk into a house that's trimmed, you go, "There's something different." What is it?
It's finished.
I can't figure out what it is, and then you go, oh, look at the windows, like, oh yeah, like what a nice detail, especially when you add additional trim to it.
Yep.
Right.
Another
And that's
item-
standard. I'm sorry.
That is standard.
Okay.
Yep. Another item is if you have a crawl space, which Suncrest is available for basements on every single lot, but if we needed to do a crawl space, we would. The entrance to that crawl space is inside of the home. Obviously, the demographic for majority of Sussex County is an older, retired demographic. We felt that it was important when we designed all of our floor plans in the very beginning. We're not sending them outside to go through a hole and jump down and go through a metal door on the outside of the home. So where your basement door would be to go down to the basement is exactly where your crawl space door is. And when you go down to the crawl, you're going to have easy access to your mechanicals of your sump pump, your dehumidifier, immediate access to your HVAC. And then from the storage component that John talked about earlier, if people are coming from a large home with a basement and they're bringing a lot of stuff, they want a place to put that. We can add concrete as big or as small as you want to in the crawl space to be able to give you storage space, and you have a full-size door at the top of the steps. You're not trying to put it through a small metal door on the outside of your home.
Is that a 3 or 4 foot crawl?
They are 4-foot crawls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
is for our southern communities that don't have the basements. We're doing a 4-foot crawl.
Well, and when you're talking about the potential of using it for storage space, when you go from a 3 foot to a
it's a big
4 foot,
difference.
Yeah.
you're like, wow, this is, you
Right.
can have one of those like little creeper chairs and actually wheel around in a 4 foot, 3 foot, you're hunched down. I worked for a builder down here, and we touted we have indoor access as well, but it was from the garage, and it was basically was on the outside, just inside. So you still had to hop into a well and still go underneath, and it had that, it was encapsulated, so it wasn't really that. So it's nice that you just open the
and
door and walk down, and there's your decorations, or there's whatever, or if you need to service your unit or change your filters or whatever, you're going. It's simple.
You're right there. You have a light switch, just like if you were walking to
just
the basement.
walk down, not get my dirty clothes on to.
And it's a controlled environment. Even that crawl space, it's fully insulated. It's got dehumidification. It's got
got
air
HVAC
supply down there,
supplies.
so you can store stuff with some peace of mind, knowing that this isn't that that crawl space from way back in the day.
Yeah.
That gets all musty.
Well,
damp.
and I want to talk about something that you just kind of glanced over, because I think you're probably used to it because it's just normal language for you every day. But you said it's dehumidified space. A lot of builders will claim that they have dehumidification in a home, and they're just utilizing the HVAC system to pull the moisture out of it, which is a byproduct. It's not really a dehumidifier. It's a byproduct of running an HVAC system. But guess what happens if you don't turn it on? You're not dehumidifying the air.
Yeah.
You guys are actually installing a designated dehumidification unit for the home.
Correct. Yeah, we've partnered with Braziers Pest Control, and they also have a crawl space division, and we install their largest unit in all of our homes, whether it's a crawl space or a basement. And that has its own separate screen that you can monitor upstairs and change the humidity level that you're trying to target.
Oh, that's cool. So you don't have to go down underneath.
Yeah.
Yep, and empties right into the sump pump as it's pulling that water out, and then puts that back outside. So independent of the HVAC system, but really important to help keep that climate between the two different areas as consistent as you can.
Yeah, having your house sitting on top of a conditioned space boosts your energy efficiency in your main living space drastically. Let alone the fact that concrete can wick moisture and whatever. But and I just thought of this, and I don't know what I'm going to ask you this question because you're obviously the guy to ask. How does Does the HVAC system run any more efficient if the dehumidifier is pulling moisture out of the air, or does it not really matter? I don't truly know.
It will, because your HVAC system is pulling the air from inside of the home.
Yeah.
Some people may think that the outdoor unit's pulling the air from the outside. It's not. You're taking that 75-degree air that's in your home, and then you're cooling it to get down to 70 degrees or 72 degrees. So you're only trying to make up that margin from your interior air temperature.
Sure.
So if it's already less humid, if you've already pulled out a lot of that moisture, the HVAC unit doesn't have to do it as much and doesn't have to work as hard. Obviously, keeping filters clean and things like that are really important to keep your airflow moving. But yeah, just because you're not down there and you're not using that space as an office or a living room or a finished basement doesn't mean that you don't want to take care of it, because it's right below $20,000 worth of flooring that you upgraded, right?
Sure.
So you want to take care of those products and make sure that both sides of it are as balanced as they can be.
Well, it's funny. I don't know why. I'm a nerd, and I wanted to do this one time. I actually took my condensation line from my unit and put it into a bucket one day. I wanted to see how much moisture I was actually pulling out of the air. Expecting you're going to have like a cup of water. I pulled almost 5 gallons of water out in a day.
Wow.
It was insane.
Don't doubt it at all.
Yeah, I was like looking up to see if like something was dripping, like to have a pipe that leaked to fill this. I'm like, there's no way I pulled 5 gallons of water out of the air of my home. It's just crazy.
But to your point, like, a home that's built, many years ago, it's kind of a dinosaur, right?
Sure.
Relative to today's building science and the components we use. So it's really indicative to like what we're doing, going back to that building science, some of the technologies, how the home is air sealed, how it's insulated, the thermal quality and ratings of these windows, along with the efficiency of the HVAC system. Homes that stay kind of abnormally humid in the summertime kind of speak to the fact that you're incorporating a lot of that outside humid air that we have and enjoy every summer. It's getting into your home.
Yeah.
We're trying to prevent that moisture from getting back in, and then let your HVAC work a little easier,
Yeah.
save you some money,
Sure.
and you're going to be more comfortable.
Well, I live in a national builder community or home, so I'm probably on the antiquated side of every aspect of building a home.
It's time to step up to a home in Suncrest.
It sounds like you need to design your dance studio in one of our basements.
Sounds like John's staying here for the
Yeah,
afternoon.
we have plenty to talk about. Don't worry.
I was going to say, on our first podcast, I was like, do you guys have a dance studio option, maybe? For
we could probably come up with one for
I'll tell you how to build the sprung floor.
Yeah.
It'd be so great. No, I think all this is great, and I think that, and again, we can sit here for probably another 3 hours, and especially get into like the building stuff, because again, I can just go on and on about, because it's so important to me. Like, I know how important it is to have a well-built home, and I know it's all the things you don't get to see. It's like when you go get your oil change, and you're like, the car looks the same, it feels the same,
Right.
but it's just one of those things that you just have to do. It's the same thing when the house is built well. It's all, you don't get to see it, but you feel it and you live it every day when you close doors and you walk and things. Just it's wow, it's just a difference. And not every builder goes that way, because maybe it's just not part of their business model, which is okay. Everyone can't be a high-end builder. Everyone can't be building the more expensive way, because then we don't have any housing that's affordable for people that don't have that budget.
Right.
But in this environment, in this area, I think it's fitting. If it was a national builder in the style community, it would probably sit for years and years, because it doesn't mesh. It doesn't work to have a production style in this type of environment. So I think it's a really great opportunity for people. I hope that for anyone that this is, again, they're looking for this more intimate experience, that they, no offense to you guys, they call us, and then we'll absolutely make sure that Foxlane is a great option, and then bring them in. But I think this definitely has a really, really good, great community for someone that's looking for this type of thing, and it's something that you should at least explore.
Yeah.
At least even if you're looking at the larger communities, maybe you think that's what you want, and then you see this and you go, well, maybe this is a better fit. It's it's free to look. It doesn't cost to come through and talk to you guys. You get to talk to this 27-year-old man here and talk about homes and everything, and kind of learn about and see, is it something that you should be looking at or not. And it's okay if the answer is no, that it's not, but at least now you're making more educated decisions because it might be yes.
Yeah,
so.
but even coming to our homes, you can feel the difference. I hear it all the time when people walk in our homes. Something we didn't touch base on, but we do 9-foot ceilings on the second floor. I think we're one of the few builders.
Standard.
So just
Is it standard?
It's standard.
It is.
9-foot
Every floor
ceiling.
plan.
The lowest ceiling height in any of our homes is 9 foot.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
There you go. So it's amazing. You just feel that when
It
you're
is.
upstairs going into another home that you were just in that may be 8 foot. It's just,
You just feel, if you didn't know, you would walk up and it kind of like with the windows I was talking about. You would walk
Right.
up and go, what's different about this? Why does it feel?
yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
But it is. We're very proud of everything we do, and we love when people walk in and notice it. And it really truly makes the home feel different from anything they've been to that day. So it's
Yeah.
really good.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming on. Please, let's schedule maybe another day for us to kind of do our thing.
Sounds good.
Because I love
Yeah.
that stuff, and I think
Absolutely.
again,
And I want to be a part of that.
we can have a
You can do a
series.
field tour.
We could have that would be great too.
Yeah, for sure.
And do like a muddy boots type thing, and or talk about, because I don't know. I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but I just think when you see a house, and especially when a builder is willing to show you their home without drywall. If you go in, they go, oh, well, let's figure out, we have to get this house cleaned up first. It's like, what are you doing here before, when they're willing to say, hey, look, this is our home before we cover everything up. And I have to go down this route real quick because, and sorry to keep you guys longer, but a lot of builders don't allow home inspections because they don't want to be called out on their, I don't want to say shortcuts, but their building techniques that they have decided as part of their model. And I believe that you guys are open to home inspectors. I think that's really, really important thing to note, because if you are, for people that are looking to build, whether you're calling us, whether they're coming to you guys or not, you should be asking your salesperson and make sure that it's in writing or at least verified in some way. Will you allow me to have a home inspector come in pre-drywall and then pre-closing? That's important. If they say, well, maybe pre-closing but not pre-drywall, what are they hiding?
Right.
What don't they want
Yeah.
a home inspector to see? Because a home inspector is just a data collector. They don't even necessarily go by code per se. They have their guidelines, but they are a data collector of like, here are things. Go talk to your builder about that jumped out to me. And these are human beings that are building homes. They're looking at the same piece of wood day in, day out, and mistakes happen, and that's okay. Guess when's the best time to find the mistake? Before you close
Right
it
down.
up.
Sure.
Right.
And there are builders who go, oh, no, they don't understand our building techniques and how we do things. So no, we don't. And home inspectors come in. Come on, you're just trying to. I don't know. So I think that's important. The fact that you guys are an open book about it says a lot. So kudos to you guys.
Well, and I think even during the sales process, right, to your point of being able to go walk homes,
Yeah.
to take someone with John's experience of sales, office time, production time, he can go and you can have a real conversation in the home.
Yeah.
And he's not just looking at it from a sales perspective. So he can show you what the differences are and why.
Yeah.
Right. So come out and see us, spend some time with him. And
Yeah, well, walk
you're gonna
through a
see the
framed
difference.
house, and you're going to go, it just looks like a sea of wood. I don't know what I'm looking at. But walk through a framed house with someone that knows and can explain it is a completely different experience. So.
Right.
And not to bash everyone, but a lot of salespeople don't have that. And they're just, kind of reciting what they've been told. Someone that's lived it is, that's a big deal. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on.
you for having
this
us.
is
Appreciate
great.
you. Thank you.
Let's do this again. Have more conversations about Suncrest, and then other upcoming projects. We can do that as well. So
We'll be back for
awesome.
sure.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.